Hi, my name is Sicelo Mabuza. I'm the director at Homegrown Shandis. Currently running a managing director position. Yeah, the company name is Homegrown Shandis, and how we started as Homegrown Shandis, we started Homegrown Shandis back in 2018, yes, mid 2018, as a result of, the challenges that we mainly have as small businesses or black owned, businesses, because our research informed us that we are still new into this thing, and we do not have like pillars of our communities who have taken the risk and starting entrepreneurship. So we do not know a lot of people who have ventured into this journey. And so more of the challenges that we normally get in entrepreneurship are somehow new to us, and it's not something that we can say we have case studies in our close reach that we can reference to, or people that we can consult. Most of whom we know who are in the the business or entrepreneurship are people that are far-fetched. And so when we started this thing, um, over time, you start getting like communities of people who are doing the same thing. And so we realized that we are all complaining about the same thing, access to market, to complain about cost, funding, and when we realize that these are problems that may not be fixed anytime soon. So it's up to us, what do we do to come up with solutions. And back in 2018, we then formed partnerships with, different brands. So my background is from Mama Kia. Mama Kia is one of, the businesses that I'm part of, and I'm a director there as well. So Homegrown Shandis in essence is made out of these brands that came together, as a result of cutting costs, as a result of, creating access to markets, as a result of coming with, an innovative business model that will solve some of these problems that we used to complain about. And back in the days, in 2019, Mamaki, Pex Lifestyle, African Timepiece came together with the same, motive of, cutting down the cost, make sure that we maximize, profitability or productivity. The mindset was to get one opportunity, trickle down the benefits. So meaning that if maybe one brand would acquire maybe a commercial media coverage, that means it wouldn't be now a Mama Kia coverage. It would also include everything, within Homegrown Shandis. So Homegrown Shandis became a vehicle or platform where we could test some of different models that, could solve some of our problem. But the main thing that, that was common to us, because we both in the fashion industry, was commercial retail. It made sense for us to say, let us create a commercial retail where we could come together with our product, because we already have the manufacturing side within these brands. Pex Lifestyle produce, Mama Kia produce, and recently we have Be Brave Lifestyle. Be Brave Lifestyle is one of the brands that are forming a homegrown Chandis. But now, Be Brave is also, as they manufacture some of the products, they also in the events industry. So that means Homegrown Shandis now has some kind of a value chain, because if we are sorted with the manufacturing, Homegrown Shandis becomes a distribution channel. So meaning these commercial retail, now they would distribute the products that we make from these companies. So with this brand, we have Homegrown Shandis. So with Be Brave as well, it makes sense because it extends the distribution channels, to event spaces where we could have, access to markets in terms of pop-ups, and a bigger or larger group that could buy, in one time. So that was the mindset at Homegrown Shandis, to make sure that we create a value chain, to make sure that we answer to these questions, and we make sure that we pilot and pilot and pilot as much as we can. So our biggest motive is to run research so that we can gather enough data that will inform our decision in terms of how we move. Currently, we have a store in Newtown Junction that now opens to, other brands, local brands. Currently, I think we have about 10 brands that are shelving a space, under Homegrown Shandis. And to be honest, these things do not come easy, as it sounds. There are challenges as well that we mainly face. For instance, when I don't know, was it 2020 when COVID-19 came? I mean, we opened our first store in 2018. you know, we had our roller coaster, but it wasn't that bad because we already been in business and we were able to function. But the heat of COVID-19 and lockdown was so heavy because we lost everything that we have acquired in that small space of time. I mean, 2019 and 2018 was more of a booming year for us because we were trading in the same space where Batu was, Maxhosa was, um, Legends Baba, even Drip first opened their store there. We had DJs in there, your Casper Nyovest, Iranjos, a lot of, prominent local brands, that were, I could say, SMEs. But the nice thing with that is that these all of these brands, they used to be in one space like a hub, and you would get like a different number of people, and some of us do share the same target audience, to a certain extent, and you would get someone maybe working from Maxhosa, and they love Maxhosa, and as they come to Homegrown Challenges, they could see something that resonates with them, because our products are also speaking to almost a similar target audience, high end, middle class, people who love, aesthetics, people love culture, storytelling through fashion, you'd get some people, walking from my class, and when they walk into Homegrown Channel, oh, lovely, I love this, this could fit, oh, I've seen this on social media. And it means that the access was expanding, and the access was very so lucrative because we could have like a give and change, Batu had a lot of traffic, I think it was end of 2018, if I'm not mistaken, where they started having like a large number of people coming into the space. And most of these people were coming outside of the province, because you'd hear people saying that, what, I'm from Limpopo and I'm here for a visit, and, I wanted to get myself a Batu, and I just saw this, I've never seen something like this before, I'd love to grab some, because they're here to spend at the end of the day. And that was so healthy because it means, our visibility was growing. And so that was the happy year. However, as soon as we hit COVID-19, so if it's COVID-19 means it started in 2019, but we had a hit in 2020, right? Yeah, in 2020, beginning of 2020, when the lockdown happened, that's when we lost our store, and it was post, as soon as the country was starting to open, we moved out of the space where we used to trade. Not just us only, all of us, because there was a new client. Business was very bad at that time. We lost our sale to from whatever we had to like zero sales, even post, lockdown, where the country was opening up, there were events, people were moving, but still our sales, plummeted so much that it was difficult to recover. So the only thing that was left for us was just to survive, plan, and Homegrown Shandis was the only brand that was at least active at that time. So it means these other brands that are under Homegrown Shandis had to keep on planning and rely on what Homegrown Shandis can provide at that time. So what we experienced then, I remember we tried to get like a working space where we at right now, we couldn't survive, 3 months. We were out, we started, working from each other's households, we started working from restaurants where we could visit, and buy maybe coffee and spending more time there so that we have like, a proper space that would, make us forget of whatever we do not have, or, be in a space that is positive, that is empowering to a certain extent. We weren't that negative, at that time. We understood the situation, but it wasn't easy because we kept on losing a lot. Everyone was gravitating towards the online thing, and for us, even though we've made so much sale even prior to, the lockdown situation, we made so much online sales, but it was easier for us because some of those sales were walk-ins. But as soon as we had the lockdown thing, it means were mainly online, and we started having, a lot of returns. People were returning a lot of product, and it was a loss for us because we didn't have enough financial muscle to recover or to cover those costs, because as soon as someone pre-order a product, it means they would pay a certain amount just for us to create, and the other money that would come in would have to cover basic costs. And it was so bad that, the costs were no longer like business related, they also included us to a certain extent because we had to survive at that time. um, and it was so bad because those are some of the things that you can't even explain to a client, that, we do not have money to make you a new pair, we do not have money to make you a new product, but it happened. Those were reality of entrepreneurship, where we had to rely on, now other business skills, communication skills, consolidating and consoling our client, and make sure we are accountable of whatever that we have done wrong, if I may put it. And fortunately enough, there were clients who were understanding, but it was bad for our business. It's still bad even now because some of the people have the bad image of, our service delivery. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was the situation then, and it prolonged, even after, 2020, 2021, we still had the same struggles where we're trying to recover. So I think the only thing that we could do that year from 2020 was visiting other entrepreneurs from where they're operating, because we didn't run away from what we represent, our business philosophy and values, of advocating for local brands, making sure that, they are covered, they are well taken care of, and our research do not, run dry. So we started visiting from Soweto, visiting, our associates or our acquaintances, if I may put it. We've got records of us visiting, from your Sears, Chillers, got that company is pushing, in Soweto is doing like a very well job. We could visit Roto Bakery. They are also pushing to, prominent. Their business is prominent. We could go to Honeydew, Ants Wisdom, go to Guatema. A lot of businesses, I mean, are in Gauteng, but, in a lot of different spaces, but we could reach there, we could create content, we could support, we could, have a conversation with them, empower and make sure that we are all in the same space, because sometimes in entrepreneurship, you would think that maybe these are some of the problems that you face alone, not realizing that it could be a common problem for us, and by doing so, you start realizing that, there is still hope, and there are certain solutions that you could adopt from other businesses. We could advise each other. We've got also our own following, people that we know that are prominent. If we come to a business and make noise, they start to recognize you. So meaning the dream and the vision of Homegrown Shandis didn't die because of such. I think that's one of the things that made us survive. And then yeah, and then after that, 2021 last year, we were able to recover. I don't know if it was 2021 or it was 2020 where we got back our space here, where we're operating in Bram at Cornhill. So we do have a studio, our workshop where we produce our product. We also do extra things like creating content. We have a studio. We have an office space here. We started building our own space where we could all meet, and work. And now the hope was at least coming back, to live, media coverages, were coming, and a lot of other things were starting to come. And later on, we're able to, gravitate back towards getting the store. We managed to acquire the store last year, Feb, and we pushed till date, which is a blessing because we survived the year of operating there and being here. And currently we have a shoe training program, so meaning we are more than now just advocating for local brands and giving them an access to market. Now we're also transferring the skills to other young people from the township who are disadvantaged, where we teach them a skill of making shoes. And we've got a distribution channel where we could distribute all of these products. They acquire experience, prominent experience that can make them survive in the long run. We give them points of references, and letter of recommendation that they could use to acquire employment. We source some and we could locate others. I mean, it's still running. And we also give thanks to the support from BASA, and we also have Department of Sports, Arts and Culture supporting us, the presidency as well, Constitution Hill. These are some of the brands that are supporting our initiative of the shoe design and creation program that we have started. We have about 10 trainees currently, and we managed to do a boot camp of we shortlisted about 40 people that were able to you know to be part of our training program, where they could make like it's an intense test, to make shoes, understand their background from design and so currently we have started. We have everyone coming in. Yeah, I would say it is positive right now. And my message to someone who is starting, I would say, well, I wouldn't want to be an advisor. I wouldn't want to be what you call like public speakers for now. Maybe if it was a gig that was paying me, maybe I would have words, just to encourage people. But I feel all of that is already available online. You go on Instagram, you get a lot of people, trying to come up with words of wisdom, words of inspiration. There's a lot of that, so much that I feel to a certain extent it mislead others. They think entrepreneurship is just a celebrity journey that you could embark on solely because of the trends or the trend set of celebrity entrepreneurs. We started seeing that a lot, and I feel it's misleading. Yeah, if you could have people who will say, "Oh, also I can do this just because so and so is doing it, and I'm unemployed and stuff." It becomes dangerous because people are diving into a deep end, not knowing and not even having all of these points of reference. But currently, I feel there's so much information. So my advice would be do research, before you jump into a space that you're not familiar with. Just do research, go online, have prominent sources. And the nice thing is there is now, a reference of black people who are into this thing. So you might get access if you need us to assist you rather than just advising you. We here, always available to offer, a piece of 2 cents. But just do research and know where you're jumping into, and also just, I don't know, keep on going. It's something that is already there. And to contact us, you can find us on Instagram, Homegrown Shandis, at Homegrown Shandis. And Facebook, same thing, Homegrown Shandis. We are not on Twitter as of yet. LinkedIn, Homegrown Shandis. YouTube. I don't know if we do have a YouTube channel. I still have to check, but just check Homegrown Shandis. So everywhere, Homegrown Shandis. Our website is homegrown.africa. Um, yeah, and if you wish to visit us, just come to Newtown Junction Mall. That's where we at. The store is Homegrown Shandis, first floor, Homegrown Shandis. And if you buy Bramfontein, you can visit us at Transwerk in in Constitution Hill, Bramfontein. We are at Studio 26, Homegrown Shandis. That's where we run our training program. That's where we have a lot of things happening inside the house. But yeah, that's how you could reach us. Thank you.